It's Amy again, and today we are going to talk about promotional mix. So a promotional mix is the way that you communicate with your audience. So that means there's lots of channels you can do that with. We're going to talk about using social media, creating flyers, word of mouth. Those are all ways of communicating with your audience. But there's 3 parts to this video because I really feel like you also need to, first of all, identify your audience so that you are using the correct channel to talk to the people that you want to talk to. You don't want to waste your effort by talking to a different demographic that's not even going to be involved in your project. So, who is your audience? That is what you have to figure out. So I'm sure you've heard of demographics, but maybe you haven't heard of demographics, but when it's when you create a subset of a society, and those are the people you're talking to. So it could be, I really want to talk to women, or I really want to talk to a certain age group, or I really want to talk to a certain subset of the population that speaks a different language. So those are all demographics. So first of all, decide which demographic you're going to speak to. Then there's also something called psychographic. I knew I had to look at that. Psychographic segmentation. That one's a tricky one. But it's like people that like to do the same kind of things. So they have the same hobbies. They have the same lifestyle and values. And so you can target them because you know where they're going to be. Okay, so thinking about what do they like? This is psychographic demographics. So you want to think about their hobbies, their lifestyle, their values. So of course, I always think about sports first. So you might be talking to a certain demographic that goes to the gym in the morning. And so you create a flyer for that certain subset of people. I guess you just need to really think about who is going to want to receive your message and who you want to receive your message. So the activity I have here for you is to actually think about that. And then if you're artistic, or even if you're not very artistic, draw a picture of that person. So we're really going to think about, for a project that wants to help the community, and we want to do a food drive. So you might think, oh my gosh, I think moms in our school community are really going to help with this. So how are we going to get to that subset of moms? So that's 30s, 40s, women's in their 30s and 40s. What do they do? Where do they go? How do you find them? Draw a picture of that person and highlight how you can tell who that person is. And so that's something you can do, and that might be really fun. Or you can write a story about that person. What does their day look like? Where do they go? Do they go to the grocery store? Do they drop their kids off at school? Do they have a book club? Where do they work? So create a story about that person. This really solidifies your understanding of them. But after you do one of those activities, you need to take it to somebody in that demographic and check if it's correct. Because a lot of times, if we're not in that demographic, we actually don't know that demographic. So get some feedback about that person. See if you're right. Okay, so the next thing I need you to do before you make a promotional mix is I would like you to create a value proposition, which is where you design or create a concise statement, a short statement that explains the benefits that you are giving to your audience. I also say that you could create a unique selling point, which is what makes you unique and what differentiates you from other projects that are in the same maybe realm of helping the community. So I want you to be really clear about who you are and what you do and what makes you unique. So in order to do this, this is actually pretty quick, but I need you to write down the answers to these questions. So the questions are, what benefits do you provide? The second one is, what are you doing that is different or unique from other projects? And why should your community support you? So once you've written those down and you have some information for them, like try to get a few paragraphs from each of those questions. And then I want you to synthesize that information into one concise statement. So synthesis is great. I don't know if you've heard that word, but teachers love it. We all the time make you read like different texts and then synthesize what you've learned because you've critically thought about them and picked out the most important information or the information that goes together, and write a statement of value for your project. Okay? And then you really know what you're going to tell your audience about yourself. Okay, so now we're going to get to how to create a promotional mix. So, oh my gosh, I love thinking about promotional mixes because it's how you communicate to your audience. Like this is back to the beginning of this video, are you going to make a flyer? Are you going to tell all your parents and all your parents' friends about it so they can go tell their friends about it? So that's just word of mouth. That one's super free. Or are you going to create some really cool reels for your social media because you're targeting your friends? So it's pretty fun, and big companies do it so well. And there's different ways to do it. So you can do above the line promotion, which probably is not in your budget because then you're giving control to a mass media outlet like TV or radio or even a huge billboard. So you kind of give up a little bit of control and they take over. These are usually much more expensive. So we're not going to talk about those as much, but we're going to talk about the below the line promotions where you have more direct control. These are like the ones we've decided to talk about, like social media, email marketing, flyers or poster boards, or word of mouth. So I really wanted to show a big organization creating an amazing promotional mix. So this is from the Effie Awards, which are the biggest marketing awards in the world. And it's about how the dairy group decided that they weren't selling enough milk, so they created this latte promotion. So we're going to watch that, and we're going to watch the Effie Awards and their video, and we're going to talk about how they did it, and then we can talk about how you can do it too. So when you look at that, they have already identified the issue. People aren't buying milk. So they realized that this subset, this audience of women are making lattes. They're buying lattes. They're not making lattes, they're buying lattes. And it's mostly milk. So watch what they do.
Their families. They rarely reach for a glass themselves. In fact, women's milk consumption has never been lower, and the category has been in a steady decline. But women are drinking lattes, a lot of lattes. Coffee houses, C-stores, and QSRs sell millions every morning. Latte lovers think of it as their favorite coffee drink. Think again. A latte is only 1 part coffee and 2 parts milk. In fact, retail coffee chains are selling more milk than coffee. So we decided to milk the opportunity and help consumers to rethink their lattes with an innovative yet simple strategy. Show women how easy it is to make a latte at home. You don't need fancy machines and special beans. All you need is milk, coffee, a little heat, and a lot of love.
Milk and coffee were made for each other. And feeling their love at home is easier than you think. Brew the beans however you want. Just make them strong. Heat the milk any way you choose. The stove works, so does the microwave. Whisk the hot milk for foam to get the complete latte experience. Pour 2 parts milk over 1 part coffee into your favorite mug. Take a moment, sit in a comfy chair, and enjoy milk's 9 essential nutrients in your homemade latte.
So that video got posted on Facebook, and that was their demographic. They are looking at women, and women are definitely on Facebook, and they're like, oh, maybe I could make my own latte.
At the center of the Latte Love campaign is the delightful story of milk and coffee's steamy romance. Channel relevant messaging across 13,000 retail locations created high awareness of the campaign. Cross-category point-of-sale merchandising elements stimulated trial by sending shoppers from the coffee aisle to the dairy case.
So they know women go to the grocery store, and so they put up their promotion actually in the grocery aisle. And I don't know if you caught the whole steamy romance, but they're definitely playing on maybe what people are reading, their audience might be reading.
In-store activation pieces featured an easy 3-step recipe for making a latte at home and drove consumers to the Latte Love Facebook app, where they discovered more latte recipes and ideas. A QR code allowed shoppers to immediately access the how-to video content in-store via their mobile device, and a mobile call to action gave them an opportunity to instantly enter for a chance to win an exclusive kit filled with everything they need to experience the Latte Love in their own kitchen.
Free giveaways are always good. So I've had kids use raffles to promote their fundraising efforts.
And there were a lot of winners, one winner every hour for 30 days. This campaign was successful at every touch point, making milk more contemporary and relevant by giving women a new usage occasion. Latte Love at home.
And you can see the success of this targeted campaign towards women. So as you see, it's not just one channel that they're using. Like, all of these big companies use multiple channels because people are not just looking at one thing. It really hit home to me when I went to Atlanta and went to Warner Brothers, and they were showing how they were promoting Powerpuff Girls when it came out again, and they were using parades, and they were using TV marketing, and they were using giveaways, and they were making merchandise, and they were having promotions on little toys right at the cash register. It's like, you've got to think about all the places your people are going to be. So if you are the 4 that I'm saying use, definitely social media. Use your social media. It's not that expensive to be able to use. You could target people, or you could make that free. You could make your content free. And email marketing, so maybe your class is able to get the emails of the parents, so you could target them if that's who you're using. Or create flyers and put them where your people are going to be, and definitely tell everybody you know about what you are doing, because you never know who could relay your message to somebody else. So as you see, there's lots of ways that you can communicate with your audience. There's guerrilla marketing, where you could make a cool art piece about your project. There are, I've had kids go on the radio in their hometown, just have a little spot and talk to somebody. So you could create a video, and maybe in your theater be able to put it up before a presentation. So the sky's the limit for promotional mix, and it's just about you being creative. Understand your audience, where are they going to be, how are you going to talk to them, and create something and put it out there and see what happens. And if you do more than one, you can evaluate which one worked better than the other. Maybe they'll all work together. Anyway, this is a really fun time to be creative. Use what you know about technology, and let me know how it goes.